Ladies and gentlemen, the Ark has always carried a sense of mystery, a symbol of immense power and a direct bridge to the divine. Stories and legends describe it as a sacred vessel containing not just holy relics, but also an energy that could transform reality itself. Yet, to look for it only as a physical object is to overlook the greater truth it represents. The Ark is not just a golden chest lost to history. It is the unweakened potential lying within every human being. Each of us carries a spark of that same energy, waiting to be discovered and expressed. From the time we are born, we are conditioned to search outside ourselves for value, power, and meaning. We look to traditions, ancient relics, and sacred sites to give us connection to the divine. But the true treasure is not hidden beneath stone or guarded in secrecy. It is carried in the depths of our own being. This is the essence of the Ark within. It is the boundless possibility that rests beneath layers of fear, doubt, and the noise of daily life. Just as archaeologists dig through soil and stone to uncover what lies hidden, so too must we excavate through limiting beliefs and habitual patterns to reach the luminous power within. This inner Ark is not bound by time or geography. It does not belong to one culture, one religion, or one chosen group of people. It is universal. It lives in the heart of every person, waiting patiently for the moment it is acknowledged. The reason so many people feel restless, unfulfilled, or endlessly searching is because they are looking in the wrong place. They chase external treasures, expecting them to bring meaning, but the true covenant, the true treasure, cannot be touched by hands. It can only be felt by awakening consciousness. To realize this Ark within means to step into the infinite field of possibility. It means to recognize that the same creative intelligence that shaped galaxies, moves oceans, and gives life to every cell in your body is also alive in you. When you understand this truth deeply, you begin to access a power that radiates beyond the boundaries of ordinary life. You are no longer simply a seeker of mysteries, you become the living expression of the mystery itself. This treasure, once uncovered, transforms everything. It shifts the way you see the world and yourself. You stop perceiving life as something happening to you, and begin to realize life is happening through you. Your thoughts, emotions, and intentions become sacred tools, capable of shaping reality. This is the real Ark, and it has never been lost. It has only been forgotten, buried under the weight of distraction and limitation. To discover it is not about traveling across deserts or searching under temples. It is about turning inward with awareness and courage. When you touch that inner light, you understand that the Ark has always been here, alive within you, waiting to be remembered. Miracles have always been described as extraordinary events, moments when the natural order bends and something impossible becomes possible. Yet so often, people are conditioned to believe that miracles come from outside, bestowed by chance, fate, or some distant power beyond their reach. They search for signs in the heavens, for relics on earth, for evidence in history. But the greatest miracles are not born from external treasures. They arise from the silence of the mind, the coherence of the heart, and the realization that the true source of creation lies within. When a person begins to recognize that every thought carries energy, that every emotion is a frequency shaping reality, then the idea of miracles shifts. No longer do they appear as random blessings, but as natural expressions of alignment. A miracle is nothing more than the manifestation of inner order expressed outwardly. When the heart is open and the mind is clear, reality bends to meet that state of being. The external world reflects the internal world. This is why searching outside for divine proof is a distraction. The real treasure, the real power, is the ability to generate change from within. There is a profound freedom in understanding this. You are no longer bound by the belief that you must wait for something outside of yourself to intervene. You no longer wait for life to deliver a gift that may or may not come. Instead, you recognize that the energy that moves mountains, parts seas, and heals bodies is the same energy flowing through you right now. You carry within you the blueprint for transformation. Every moment you choose elevated thoughts, every time you generate emotions of gratitude, love, and possibility, you are engaging in the miracle-making process. The mistake most people make is underestimating their own inner power. They look to sacred objects or ancient places as if these alone hold the key. But even if the Ark of the Covenant were revealed tomorrow in perfect condition, its true value would not be in the gold or the relics it carries. It would be in what it symbolizes, the connection between the human being and the infinite source of creation. That connection is not rare or locked away. It is alive in every breath, in every heartbeat, in every spark of awareness. To live with this knowledge is to stop searching and start remembering. The miracle is not waiting to descend from the heavens. It is waiting to rise from within you. And when it does, walls of limitation fall away, doors open where none existed, and healing occurs not because of chance, but because the mind and body are aligned with the intelligence of life itself. The world does not need more relics to prove divinity. It needs more people willing to awaken to their inner divinity and demonstrate it through their lives. That is the true miracle, ordinary individuals realizing the extraordinary truth that they are creators, not merely receivers. Temples have always been built as sacred places, where the human and the divine could meet. Stone upon stone, carved with precision, raised in devotion, they stand as symbols of humanity's longing for connection with something greater. Yet, as magnificent as these structures may be, they remain external symbols of a deeper truth. The true temple is not found on a mountain, nor beneath the ground, nor guarded by walls. It is within each of us, a space of consciousness more vast and sacred than any monument humans could ever build. This temple cannot be measured by height or width. It has no pillars or ceilings, no boundaries of time or geography. It exists in the stillness of awareness, in the silence between thoughts, in the beating of the heart. To enter this temple is not a matter of travel, but of turning inward. When the noise of the world grows quiet, when the distractions of daily life are set aside, one discovers that the sacred has always been here. The doorway is stillness, and the key is attention. Many believe they must search far to experience divinity, that they must climb mountains, touch relics, or walk sacred paths. But the journey is not outward, it is inward. The temple of consciousness is always accessible, whether you are standing in a crowded street or sitting alone in silence. It is the same place where dreams are born, where intuition whispers, where love arises without condition. It is the space where one meets the essence of life itself. To realize this is to shift the meaning of worship. Worship is no longer about rituals performed outside, but about the state of presence within. Every breath becomes a prayer. Every moment of awareness becomes an offering. Every choice to align with compassion, gratitude, or love is a step deeper into the sacred hall of consciousness. In this way, the temple is never closed, it is never destroyed, it is never lost to history. It remains unshaken, eternal, because it is not built from matter but from awareness. And within this temple, the covenant is renewed. The covenant is not about laws written on stone tablets, but about the living connection between your awareness and the universal intelligence that breathes life into everything. When you step into the temple of consciousness, you do not encounter a distant God hidden in shadows. You encounter the divine presence alive within your own being. You realize that the separation between human and divine was always an illusion, a veil drawn by the restless mind. The true temple asks for no offerings other than presence, no sacrifice other than letting go of illusions, no pilgrimage other than the journey inward. To dwell in it is to know peace, to feel wholeness, and to live in harmony with the greater intelligence of existence. This temple cannot be destroyed, for it is not made of stone. It is as eternal as consciousness itself. Light has always been a symbol of truth, clarity, and transformation. In ancient stories, the ark was said to radiate a force so powerful that it could illuminate, protect, and even alter the course of events. But this light was never meant to remain bound within a sacred container. It was always a reflection of what lies within the human being. To awaken the inner light is to realize that this same radiance exists in every person, waiting to be uncovered and expressed into the world. This light is not the glow of the sun or the flame of a lamp. It is the energy of awareness itself, the spark that animates life, the current that connects thought, emotion, and spirit. When one begins to align mind and heart, when thoughts are elevated beyond fear, and emotions are infused with gratitude and love, that inner spark grows brighter. It becomes coherent, focused, and capable of reaching far beyond the boundaries of the body. Just as a beam of light cuts through darkness, this awakened state cuts through limitation and suffering. Most people move through life with their light dimmed, hidden under layers of conditioning, fear, and self-doubt. They search outside for illumination, hoping someone else or something else will provide it. But the truth is, the source of light has always been inside. The moment you shift your awareness inward, the moment you choose to connect with the deeper intelligence of life, that light begins to shine. And once it shines, it transforms not only your inner state, but also the reality you experience. This awakening is not about grand displays or dramatic events. It often begins quietly, like the first rays of dawn breaking through the night. A sense of peace where there was once chaos. A feeling of love where there was once fear. A vision of possibility where there was once despair. These are signs that the inner light is awakening, and as it grows, it radiates outward, touching others, influencing environments, and reshaping the very fabric of your life. To awaken the light is to become a beacon. It is to carry within you the same energy that creates stars, the same intelligence that guides the seasons, the same rhythm that moves the oceans. You no longer see yourself as small or powerless. You realize you are connected to the same source that animates all existence, and therefore, you are capable of creation, healing, and transformation. This light does not judge, it does not exclude, it does not diminish. It simply shines, and the more it is expressed, the stronger it becomes. Every act of kindness, every thought of gratitude, every choice to live from love rather than fear, feeds this inner radiance. Over time, it grows so steady and clear that nothing external can dim it. Darkness may surround, but it cannot penetrate a light that is awake. To awaken this inner radiance is the true purpose of life. For once it shines, you understand that the ark was never lost. It has always been here, carried within, waiting for you to remember and let it illuminate the world. Throughout history, stories about the ark describe its power to part seas, to topple walls, and to overcome obstacles that seemed immovable. These images are not just legends of a relic, they are mirrors of the potential within us. Every person carries walls built from fear, rivers of resistance that feel impossible to cross, and limitations so deeply ingrained that they seem unshakable. Yet, when the inner power awakens, those barriers no longer hold the same strength. What once seemed fixed begins to dissolve, and the impossible becomes possible. Limitations are rarely made of stone, though they feel just as solid. They are shaped by thoughts repeated over time, by beliefs inherited from the past, and by emotions that have never been released. A person who says, "I am not good enough," builds a wall. One who believes life will always be this way digs a trench. Over years, these structures become so familiar that they seem permanent, but they are not. They are simply constructs of the mind, maintained by attention and energy. The same way they were built, they can be dismantled. Breaking through resistance begins not with force, but with awareness. When one steps into a higher state of consciousness, when the heart and mind align with clarity and vision, the structures of limitation begin to weaken. Fear loses its hold, doubt loses its weight, resistance gives way to possibility. Just as the ark was said to radiate an energy that collapsed walls, so too does awakened awareness radiate a force that unravels inner barriers. It is not destruction, it is transformation. Think of water pressing against a dam. If the flow grows strong enough, the dam eventually yields. In the same way, when your energy rises, when you cultivate elevated emotions like love, gratitude, and courage, the flow of inner light becomes unstoppable. The walls you once thought defined you, the fears, the stories, the patterns, cannot withstand that current. They collapse not because you fought them, but because you outgrew them. This process is not always comfortable. Resistance often appears strongest just before it breaks. The mind clings to the familiar, even when the familiar is painful. But if you remain steady, if you choose again and again to focus on the vision of who you are becoming rather than the memory of who you were, the walls eventually fall. And on the other side of that collapse, a vast space opens, a space of freedom, possibility, and creation. Breaking limitations is not about overpowering life. It is about realizing that life itself is flowing through you, and when you align with that flow, nothing can stand in its way. What once seemed unmovable is revealed as an illusion. What once held you back becomes the very material that strengthens your journey. And in that realization, you understand the truth behind the ancient stories. The greatest power is not in the object itself, but in the awakened human spirit that can part seas and move mountains, simply by remembering its true nature. For generations, seekers have searched for the ark, convinced that its discovery would change the course of history. They believe it to be hidden under stones, buried in chambers, or lost in the folds of time. Yet the true discovery does not lie beneath the earth. It does not rest in gold, relics, or ancient treasures. The greatest discovery is far more intimate. It is the realization of the divine covenant alive within your own being. To awaken to this truth is to understand that the treasure of creation, healing, and abundance has always been carried inside you. This realization changes the way you see the world. No longer do you place your hope in what lies outside, in relics or proofs that may never surface. Instead, you begin to recognize that the power you once imagined to exist in sacred objects is the same power animating your heart, flowing through your breath, and guiding your consciousness. The ark was never lost. It was always present, disguised as the life force within every human being. The true discovery, then, is not archaeological. It is spiritual. When you remember this, life takes on a different texture. You stop chasing and start embodying. You stop searching for evidence of the divine and start living as evidence of the divine. Each thought becomes a tool of creation. Each emotion becomes a frequency shaping the field of possibility. Each action becomes an offering. In this state, abundance is not something you strive for. It is something you radiate. Healing is not something you wait for. It is something you allow. Miracles are no longer distant. They are natural expressions of your alignment with the universal intelligence. The world often distracts with promises that the treasure lies elsewhere. If only you go here, believe this, or find that. But the most courageous act is to turn inward and face the silence, to uncover the covenant written not on stone tablets, but in the very fabric of your being. It says you are not separate from the source of life. It says you are a living expression of creation itself. And it asks only that you remember and live accordingly. The true discovery is not about possession, it is about realization. You do not hold the ark in your hands, you embody it. You do not guard it behind walls, you express it in every moment of your life. The treasure is not in what you can find, but in what you can awaken. And once this awakening happens, it can never be lost again, because it was never truly hidden. This is the discovery the world has always been waiting for, not the unveiling of an artifact, but the awakening of individuals who live as radiant temples of light, love, and creation. In that realization, the search ends and the living covenant begins.